What if the change you've been hoping for has already passed you by? What if you were so busy waiting to feel ready, so busy fantasizing about a future you hadn't earned, that the opportunity showed up, and you were too slow to catch it? No dramatic failure, no warning, just a slow fade of what could have been. That's the danger of hope without preparation. It feels good, it sounds noble, but it rots you quietly. There's a man you've never heard of. Let's call him Thomas. Years ago, he was in the same place you might be right now. Full of potential, talent, passion. He had big plans. Said he was going to change everything. His friends believed him. He believed himself. But Thomas had one fatal flaw. He thought wanting change was enough. He was always getting ready, always waiting for the right time. But change doesn't wait. Life doesn't wait. And the truth is, while Thomas was preparing to start, someone else had already started preparing. And that person didn't talk much. They were too busy building. Now, 10 years later, Thomas works under someone with half his talent and triple his discipline. He still talks about what he's gonna do. And every year his audience gets smaller. His fire gets dimmer, not because he wasn't good enough, but because he never figured out the difference between planning and preparing. You see, hope feels like progress. That's the trick. It gives you the chemical hit of doing something without doing anything. You say, I'm visualizing, I'm manifesting, I'm aligning my energy, and maybe you are. But if that inner work isn't paired with outer motion, consistent, disciplined, often boring motion, then all you're doing is wasting time in prettier language. The Stoics warned about this. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." But here's the part people ignore. You don't control the opportunity. You only control the preparation. And if you're not doing that part every single day, you're not unlucky. You're unready. The people who change their lives don't do it by talking about the future. They do it by showing up in the present. They don't need to convince anyone they're about to change, because they already are, in their routine, in their priorities, in their discomfort. Change isn't an event. It's a lifestyle. It's hidden in the days no one sees, the early mornings, the silent sacrifices, the days you show up even though no one's clapping. So let me ask you something. Are you waiting for your life to change? Or are you preparing for it to? Because only one of those paths actually leads anywhere. Jacob and Marcus started from the same place, same city, same high school, same classes. For most of their early lives, they looked identical on paper, both smart, ambitious, talented. People used to say they were the kind of guys who'd make it, but the years told a different story. Jacob took the more common route. He kept talking about what he was going to do. Every time you saw him, he had a new plan, a new idea. He said he was mapping it all out, waiting until it made sense. Said he was just trying to align everything before taking the leap. Marcus didn't talk much. He wasn't on social media flexing future goals. You wouldn't have even known what he was building unless you were close. He just started waking up earlier, cutting off distractions, saving money, learning skills, quietly, while everyone else still wanted credit just for wanting it. He failed quietly too. He just never stopped. 5 years later, Jacob is still talking, still strategizing, still explaining why now's not the time. And Marcus? He doesn't need to talk anymore. The proof's in his life. That's the separation. It never happens in one day. It happens in the small, invisible spaces where one person waits and another one prepares. Where one convinces themselves that readiness is a feeling, and the other understands it's a decision, a lifestyle, The part that no one tells you? The person who moves in silence will always look like they came out of nowhere. But they didn't. They just weren't posting about it. They were too busy bleeding for it. And by the time you see the results, they're already 5 steps ahead. That's the danger of hope without motion. It feels like faith, but it's just fantasy. And the longer you wait to move, the more you start needing miracles to catch up. Preparation doesn't look glamorous. It looks like doubt, like repetition, like everyone questioning why you're working so hard for something they can't see. But that's the nature of preparation. It happens in darkness. It happens when no one believes yet. Not even you, some days. But those who separate, they show up anyway. So the next time you tell yourself you're getting ready, ask yourself honestly, for how long? How many more next weeks are you planning to burn before you become the person you keep describing? The ones who rise don't have more talent. They just stopped waiting to feel ready. They started preparing before it made sense. And now it does. Most people never notice the moment they change, because by the time it happens, they've already become someone else. It's never one choice. It's 1,000 small ones. The decision to stay up late when you'd rather quit. The quiet no to another distraction. The moment you turn off the noise and keep building. At first, those decisions feel like work, like effort. But over time, they start to feel like you. That's the shift. That's the becoming. It's not something you announce. It's something you live into. No one tells you how lonely this part is. When you stop waiting for the breakthrough and start building without applause. When you realize no one's coming to push you, encourage you, or pull you out of bed. That part's yours now. The world isn't asking you to change. It's daring you to stay the same. It's hoping you'll flinch, that you'll keep being predictable. And the moment you stop being predictable, you become powerful. Change doesn't start with the results. It starts with the responsibility, the understanding that no one is going to save you, that your life is entirely in your hands, that your excuses, no matter how valid, won't build the future. Only action does. Quiet, disciplined, relentless action. That's where people fold. Because responsibility is heavy, and without it, you get to stay hopeful. You get to say, one day. You get to be admired for your potential without ever having to prove it. But if you want freedom, real freedom, you give that up. You sacrifice the illusion of potential for the reality of progress. You become the person who moves, who builds, who earns, and eventually, who becomes. By now, the world is noticing. But you don't need them to, because you've already become someone they can't ignore. Your habits changed. Your circle changed. The way you talk to yourself changed. Not because you wanted to impress anyone, but because the old version of you couldn't survive this level of clarity. They were built for waiting. You're built for becoming. And no, it's not perfect. You'll fall. You'll doubt. But this time, you won't stall, because you've done too much. Given too much. Come too far. This isn't a phase. It's who you are now. So when they ask how you got here, don't give them a headline. Give them the truth. I stopped hoping for change. I started preparing for it. And somewhere along the way, I became the kind of person who doesn't wait anymore. Because that's the real shift. Hope looks to the future. Preparation builds it. And you've already started.